This is a Tape Deck podcast.
Hello and welcome to We'll Run For. This is your host Tom, and with me as always are Erin. Answer the question.
Hello.
Thank you. Is that a question? Michael
Hello.
and Diana.
Hi. I got very confused because you started this out by saying testing, and I've never heard you say that before.
I was about
I don't
to do a
think we've
countdown.
ever said that. Not once.
Trying to change it up.
I don't think that's ever been used.
Every
That's a new
single
one.
time we
Yeah.
do this, something new and different happens.
Yes.
And we all laugh about it and
Look.
have no idea what's going on.
Wow, December's been great, huh?
It's awesome.
Oh, God.
You know that when this episode releases, it's not even going to be December.
Oh, really?
It's going to be like
right.
November 28th
Scrap-
or
all right,
something.
forget I said that. All right, let's
3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to We'll Run For. This is your host Tom, and with me as always are Erin,
I am not editing that out.
Michael, and Diana.
Let's run it back. We're doing it again.
Wow, welcome to the end of November. How's November treating everybody?
It went real quick, and it's been dark. It's been dark for the
I
last
can't
3
believe.
months.
All of a sudden it was November 1st, and
I
now
don't
we're
understand
at
what happened.
like the 20-something. I just
Yeah,
Yeah.
this weekend I realized, or this week, today I had like this weird thing where I was like, "Oh crap! Next week's December 1st," and it like threw like my brain out
Yeah.
of like whack today.
Yeah.
Does that?
When we
Does
were driving home from Philly on Sunday, Tom looks at me and he's like, "We're going to Disney next week. We've been planning this for 2 years, and it's next week."
Oh my God.
boy.
It's amazing how that stuff just like pops up.
Yeah,
Really?
And it's like, where, like it was summer like 5 minutes ago.
it was. It really
First of all,
was.
2 week or what? The week before the marathon, where it was 4 degrees out, which we'll get to in a minute, we were all in tank tops and shorts.
Yep.
Yep.
And even me, guys, which is a thing where I'm not usually in a tank top
Yeah.
and shorts.
We were at a wedding and like sweating because it was so warm
The
outside.
pictures when I was doing the episode art, you sent me that one picture, and then Tom sent me the picture of him like all dressed in with a buff on his head and like all that. And then the next picture he sent me was the one with you all like in t-shirts, shorts, and tank tops. I'm like, what? What is this picture?
Yeah. It's just why? Why is it 70 degrees one day and 10 the next? It makes no damn sense.
Listeners, please help Diana answer the question, why is weather?
Why is weather?
Why?
Anyway, how are you two? It's been a while.
It's been like less. It has been. I was going to say less
Slightly
than
more than
24 hours,
hours,
but
yeah.
more than 24 hours now. We are here to do our quick recap, right, of this past weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Celebrate.
we got to spend a lot of time with you guys. We met the 5 cutest little old ladies in
Oh
the
my
entire
God.
universe at
Oh
a
my
bar
God,
on Saturday
yes.
night.
Strange loves.
Tom is a real ladies' man.
Oh, yeah.
Look, they made my night and I made theirs.
They love it.
They made all of our nights.
But to try to keep us on some sort of structure, can we do something we're running for?
Sure. I'll jump in because this is going to be my downfall until the end of the year. And they are the peppermint milkshakes from Chick-fil-A. They just started back this past Monday. And yeah, can't get enough, won't get enough. I will have them until I get sick. I did try the peppermint frosty from Wendy's. Not as good.
Nope.
Not as good.
Step your game up, Wendy's.
Oh, really?
You got to get the Chick-fil-A. And, they're problematic. And I don't like that. But I love their milkshakes. I don't know what to tell you. It's,
It's the duality of man.
Yeah.
I don't know if that even applies to what was just said, but I'm running for mental tenacity
Oh,
because
That's a
Interesting.
big word.
what do you mean?
I'm getting more and more confident. We'll talk about this when we talk about the running. But I've got to find out how to keep my head in the game when everything really hurts and I still have a pretty good distance to go. Because I punk out and I just get in some negative headspace, and I just need like a good mantra. I need something that'll just take me out of, my head a little bit. So that's what I'm trying to develop throughout this whole dopey journey, is just how to be a little bit more mentally tough.
Well, if you
There you
figure
go.
that out,
That's a good one.
let me know, because this sucks real bad. We're getting to it's sucking real bad now.
I feel like you had to have learned some mental toughness at Rockin' the Knob, though.
I did. Oh, absolutely. Well,
Because that's a race that'll beat you up pretty good.
part of Rockin' the Knob was like, you are in the middle of the wilderness, and your heart is beating out of your chest.
Yeah,
And there is one guy that has just been tagging along behind you. And I do not want this guy to have to drag my corpse out of the woods.
Yep.
So that was my mental,
That could
my
be
motivation.
a mantra.
Think about
Don't die in
that
the woods.
versus think about that versus Dopey. I mean, you're never going to be in any situation close to what you were at Rockin' Knob in Dopey.
True.
It's true.
Although, he tried to find some mental tenacity at Rock the Knob. What he lost was his camelback, which he has not seen
Oh, really?
since that event. He wore it
Where'd
for
it
the
go?
first time that
Idea
day.
where it is.
It's nowhere
my
to be
God.
found. He's worn it once. He got one use out of it.
It had, did you leave it on, a picnic table or something?
There's no way.
That's what I said to him.
There's a pretty good chance.
No, when we did you give it to Angie and Weckerly? Is it in their baby
Oh.
cart? Because you helped them bring
Maybe it's in Illinois.
You helped them bring
it's in their
the
stroller.
yeah. I mean,
Illinois.
I
It's just
feel
been
like they
under the
probably would.
stroller.
I feel like they probably would have found that by now. But I checked the table when we left, and there was nothing left on the table.
And there wasn't a lot of people around, so it wasn't there was just stuff everywhere.
Ben has
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
He's
there
just
was a
using
lot
it.
of us.
Yeah, Ben took it.
There was a lot of us there at the end there, but I feel like I know I checked the table before we left because there was a lot of us and we had a lot of ish
Yeah, I don't
all
know.
around.
I'm gonna not really look for it tonight, and when I don't find it, I'm gonna order a new one immediately. Because now we're into the 20-mile training runs, and I cannot do that with a handheld.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
run out
no,
of
you-
water
yeah.
twice on runs.
Yeah, you
I've-
definitely want one. Yeah.
I don't
It's
take in a
worth
lot
it.
of water in general, but
Still better to just
I've
have
run
it,
out
yeah.
now, and that's a
Yeah.
bad place to be. So, anyways, I'm running for a stronger mental game.
Cool. I'm running to find a run on Peloton right now because that's what I'm sort of distracted by. I'm trying to find my birthday run for tomorrow. I'm going to use the Peloton app for the first time on my treadmill just
Ooh.
because I think I'm going to try and do the InSync run.
Ooh,
So I'm running for InSync. I was biking for
Yes.
InSync last week. This week I'm going to run for InSync.
Yes. And
Oh.
JC was there, so you got the superior NSYNC member. He
He was
should have
the
been
lead
leading.
singer.
Well,
Yeah.
he was not on the InSync ride. He was on the Cody LOL ride. So I haven't done that ride yet. So there's two separate rides he did.
Know why you'd ride without Cody, but
couple.
Well,
things.
both of them were with Cody. Both of them were with Cody.
of course.
Well, and I know when you did the NSYNC ride, a bunch of your friends were there with you on the leaderboard.
Yep. Because it was during the live, he was
Yeah.
doing it live.
Yeah.
So there just happened to be a lot of us.
However, one of our friends of the podcast, Girl Without Tattoo, was in the room
Yes.
with
Yes.
Cody.
With Cody.
It's so
Yeah.
amazing.
Yep. She sent me a message because I had posted the day before that I was going to do the ride. And she sent me a picture of her in the studio before the ride. And then right after the ride with a picture of her and Cody. And I was like, really?
It's so annoying.
Real nice. I wish I was there. I actually would love to go to the Peloton studio in New York because it's not terribly far. I mean, it's not terribly close, but it's not terribly far. It's about an hour and a half. So I actually would like to try and sign up for like the lottery or whatever it is to get you into some of those rides.
We looked at it when we went up for our anniversary. It was a huge pain in the ass.
They only really do it on the weekends, like the Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday rides, because like we were there during the week and none of those are available.
Oh, my friend Amy, Miles and Crowns, she's been at a few of them. She even got to do a few of her milestones there.
Oh, nice.
And I think she did her birthday. I might be wrong about that. And then Allison does them pretty regularly because Michelle Kay, when we saw her this weekend, that was one of the things she said. She's like, I don't understand how she gets into all of them.
Yeah, there must be some trick we don't know about.
Look.
Or she just knows the right people.
I'm at Kendall at a Pearl Jam show at the Apollo, so...
Now you can just DM her. Slide into those DMs.
That's my gal.
All right, let's keep this rolling.
Oh, I don't remember what I was going to say. Let's see.
Is it that you did 3 hours on the treadmill like a lunatic?
Oh, yeah, I did do that. So after I was editing the other day, I was like, oh, I said I would never do more than a couple miles on the treadmill. And then literally 2 days later, I was on the treadmill for
I was very proud of him. I was very proud of him.
Yeah.
I got on, I did a 75-minute ride, and he was on like for 20 minutes before me. And then, the whole time he was still running, and then I got off and he was still running. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And I ran uphill the entire time.
Oh my God.
Is your setup still the same way that it was when we visited you?
Yes.
Yes.
So are you basically looking at each other for 3.5 hours?
Ugh.
No, I was watching the screen because I had
the way that he's high enough that he's mostly got the screen, and I'm facing kind of like the one door. So
you're cattywampus?
We don't actually. Yeah, so we don't actually look at each other.
And I usually make a map route, so I'm watching the screen to pretend that I'm outside.
Got it.
So
yeah. And for the 75, I had the iPad on I have a holder thing that I put on the handlebar, and then I had one Bluetooth ear set to the Peloton and one Bluetooth headset to the
movie.
To the movie, because 75 minutes is a really long time.
That is a long time.
You should try 3 hours on treadmill.
I cannot imagine.
What was my something good again? God damn, I forget it again.
Wait, are we doing something good now?
No. Okay. What I was running for. Oh, I know what I'm running for. Now I remember. Eating better. I've been eating better for 2 weeks now.
Oh, good for you.
Okay.
I have, actually, because I cut out all snacking 2 weeks ago. You're just not aware of this and don't give me any credit. It's fine. I understand.
No one, why is he just saying that? No one, I didn't say anything.
They can't see you.
What are you talking about?
Erin, tell your face to support your husband.
I have. And it's made a huge difference. I feel much better than I did 2 weeks ago when this. It was 2 weeks ago, the culmination of our horrific eating. I'll say the wedding was probably the end of it. So a week and a half ago.
Well, that's good. Good for you.
But it was a good week.
Good.
It was a good week. Oh, yeah. You know what it was? It was right after the wedding because we had that chicken pot pie.
Oh, yeah.
From Kerber's farm?
Yes.
Delightful.
Yes. Yeah.
I hear good things about Kerber's.
Yes. So running for eating better because I've been eating better.
So the Philadelphia Marathon weekend.
Ooh, can we jump in right before we get to that? Michael and I forgot to tell a story on our last episode, and I think Michael wanted to.
Did you guys even hear about this?
Oh, yeah.
Tell this story.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We volunteered. We forgot to mention on the last episode that we volunteered at the Batona Trail Races 33-miler and 55-mile Quaker Bridge aid station.
Oh, nice.
As we did the previous years.
Yeah.
With Megan and Emily, and we had a couple new crew.
They were awesome.
They were really great.
Super helpful.
Yeah. It was a really nice crew.
Real great crew
out there that day. It was I think we did briefly mention, and then we just forgot that to review it at all. Because it was 78 degrees out that day.
2 weeks ago before it was.
Yeah.
freezing.
The first weekend in November. It was so hot out. We had a lot of fun. It was a really good time. If you ever want a great trail experience, 33 miles or 55 miles.
Yeah.
Batona Trail Races in the woods of New.
There's no shorter distance. Sorry.
But one of my favorite stories from that was there was a guy who came into the aid station, and Michael recognized him.
I was
Did he
cooking
yell at him?
bacon at the time.
Yeah. What happened there, Michael?
No, I forget what we were talking about. I don't know. A group came in together, and they were 55 milers, so they were like everybody was getting to us in the later stages of the 55. Were a little worse for the wear because it was 80 degrees out, and we were at mile 28 or whatever. But so we were talking for a second. And I was like, "You look familiar." I was like, "Did you sweep this race a couple of years ago?" He's like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Oh yeah." I was the dude like who almost died once. He's like, "Oh my god, really?"
He's like, I still talk about you.
Oh my
You're still
God.
a story I tell.
I love that.
Because I said we talk about you all the time. He's like, oh, I talk about you all the time.
We took a picture together.
So I took a picture of
Yeah,
them, and
yeah.
they commiserated about that experience.
Yeah.
He remembers everything about it. They talked about like the cooler that they had found, and like how
Oh, yeah.
Michael knew the trail better than him. It was a really funny
my
like little
God.
interaction.
What I didn't know is that poor guy, he had never like run more than, I don't know, like 20 miles or something before that day. And he got stuck sweeping for like 30 miles or something.
Oh no.
But we found a cooler on the trail that had a beer in it. So he's like, so he had it while we were, because I was moving extremely slow. That was the time I was sick. So, yeah. So we recounted the story. He's like, I left you at the car. I was like, man, I don't know if I should leave him at the car. Is he going to make it?
Yeah, it
Oh
was
my
just like
God.
it was just like this funny little interaction that happened when they like randomly realized who the other one was. It was like they were commiserating and reminiscing about the whole thing, and
So
like
cute.
it was just so funny. And everyone else who was around was laughing because like the way that like that sudden realization that you know each other.
Oh,
They're
God.
like, oh my God, and remember that, and oh yeah.
I spent a lot of time with him. That was a long, slow walk when he caught up to me. Anyway, so we close up the aid station, right? And we got to bring food to another aid station. So
This is to bring context to a couple of Michael's reels that he posted.
Oh yeah.
Got
This is months ago at this point. Anyway, so our two choices are to take a 4-mile road out to the main road, which is not in the direction of where we have to go, or take a 4-mile dirt road towards the direction we have to go. And the one road we've already been down and know exactly what it is. The other road we haven't been down, but it hasn't really rained, so we know it's pretty good. So we get all the way down. So I make the left. I head down to Batstow, down the road. 4 miles down the road, there's a giant puddle and no way around it. So the puddles out there can be like 4 feet deep.
And they're like Jeeper puddles.
Yeah.
Like they're made like they're like big dips. Like the dirt bikers and the
Jeeps
Jeepers
and
love
stuff
go
those
too. Yeah.
roads because
'Cause-
they have the big divots. And so not only is the puddle deep, but then it also has the big
Has
Jeep
two
tire.
tire ruts in it.
God.
So we pull up to it and I'm like, all right. I was like, I should just get out and walk through it. And then I can see exactly, because I know there's going to be 2 deep trenches in it. And I'm like, I'll just walk. I should just get out and walk through it and see where the water is.
Well, first you wanted to see whether we could get around it.
I did
because
look to
there
see-
was
there
sort
wasn't
of
a way
like
we
a
could-
path
yeah.
around it where you could walk, and he was wondering if we could take the car through
But for
it.
our car, truck, whatever, it wasn't quite right.
I have a Hyundai Tucson.
Yeah,
for,
it has all-wheel
for,
drive.
You know,
But there was
context of
like
what kind of
4
vehicle
Jeeps
this
on the
is.
other side of the water.
And they're all encouraging us.
Of
Like
course.
they're like, oh yeah, you just make sure you floor it and just don't let up and
Yeah.
just keep going.
Well,
Oh,
they
God.
were incorrect about that, but I don't want to go too much into that. So,
Oh my God.
but I should have got out and walked the puddle to see exactly where the dips were, and I didn't. So we go into the puddle and get stuck.
Oh no.
And the wheels are not even touching the ground because the 2 ruts are deeper than the center.
Oh my God.
So, and the water is up to like just below the door. So I have to get out anyway and walk through the water anyway after all that because we're in the water.
Oh my God.
So I get out. They have a couple tow lines and stuff. I got to go into the back of the car, get the tow hook out, blah, 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 blah. 20 minutes, they pull us out because we're sitting there debating it for like 5 minutes. We had to either drive like 45 minutes back up the dirt road and then out the other road,
Oh no.
or try and go through. So it was like, so we tried to go through. We got stuck.
Oh god.
We get through. Finally, we get pulled out. Every single service light on the car is on. Every light.
Well, no. So that happened. So he gets out of the car. I get in. He tells me to get in driver's seat. So I get in driver's seat. The car is fine. Then both him and some guy are like, hit the gas, which I shouldn't have done because whatever I did when I hit the gas, every single light and like bell and everything went on in the car. Whereas when I was just sitting in the water, if they had just pulled me out, none of my lights would have gone on and it would have been totally fine. But two people were like, hit the gas. So I hit the gas, but because my tires weren't on the ground, my car freaked the F out and was like, what the hell is going on? And every single light on the dashboard lit up.
Oh god.
So yeah. So they pull us out. We're dry. We get to the other aid station and we hear like just making funky noises and all kinds of stuff. So I'm like having a heart attack because I think I destroyed the car.
Was so upset.
And then I don't know. We're messing around unplugging the battery for 2 days. 2 days later, we also realized we lost the license plate out there.
I knew it because I saw that TikTok and I'm like, what happened?
Well, because if when people find a license plate in a puddle like that, they will hang it on a tree nearby. But the cover of the license plate was hanging on the tree, but not the plate when I went out and went for a run to find it. So anyway, eventually, long story short, the lights eventually went off, but the brake was still making noise because there was a giant stick wedged in the brakes.
I was like, I don't there was this noise that I like the next day when I went to work on Monday, I called him and I was like, my brakes, like there's it's noise coming from the tire. I think it's every time I hit the brake, I'm pretty sure it's the brakes. And then it went away. Like it went on for like 10, 15 minutes and then it went away. So I was like, oh, it's fine. And then a few days later, he was driving it and all of a sudden this really loud creaking, like shrieking noise started coming from my tire. And we're like, what is that? And eventually he got out and looked at my tire and there was like a 3-inch piece of wood wedged in my tire in like the brake area. And it was just burning. So it was like, it also smelt weird because I think that it was like
the wood
burning.
Was burning. Yeah. But the car is okay. Everything's fine.
It's all good.
We had an adventure.
I still don't have a license plate.
Yeah, there's no license plate. But it was a nice adventure anyway.
There you go.
So that gives some context to that TikTok he posted a few
searching
weeks ago.
For the license plate.
Yeah, searching for a license plate. I'm like, we never even told this story, and you're like searching for Erin's license plate.
I mean, the water. Thank God the water didn't come in the doors.
Yeah,
like it was close.
Yeah. All right. All right, we got 30 minutes.
Philly Marathon.
The Philadelphia
Weekend.
Marathon.
Home to Benjamin Franklin.
And, all 4 of them.
I'll say
all the things.
Philly goes hard on Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah,
yeah.
Is it Philly or is it you?
I mean, both of them.
That's fair.
I feel like there's been a lot of Ben Franklin out of you of late.
Yeah.
All right, so Philadelphia Marathon. We drive up on Friday.
So let's just set the stage. About 3 to 4 days earlier, I start checking the weather and then going into a complete panic. Because I've not run really in the cold yet. The coldest day I've run was, I guess a couple weeks ago where I did the bridge run. And it was like normal cold, like the 40s.
40s, yeah. And
I knew I was going to be on that bridge. I was like, oh, I'll dress slightly warmer for the wind. But no, this is a whole new thing.
Well, the forecast going into the weekend was showing feels like 11-degree temperatures, but like the actual temperature being like 28 degrees because the winds were supposed to be so bad that it would made a 18-degree difference in temperature.
Thankfully, they held off a little bit for you guys, right, for the half.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
So let's walk through the kind of the chain of events. We drive up on Friday, and we go to the expo.
I get a peppermint milkshake on the way.
Dinah gets a peppermint milkshake. The expo was at the convention center,
Mhm.
and we met Michelle, Crazy Runner Michelle. And it was a very, very, very lackluster expo. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's not good.
Which, okay, as a Philly local is disappointing because I've done this race for three or four times now, and it's always been a great expo. So Michelle Kay, who's also done this race 5 or 6 times, said the same thing as you did, that this expo was terrible, and not terrible, but not up to its usual
No, it was terrible.
standards.
Not great at
And it was they didn't even have hoagies. You didn't get a free
hoagies.
hoagie?
Mar.
There's a hoagie on a body.
So, but the actual merch, like the race merch, was pretty nice. Like there's a bunch of different choices, and
Yeah.
like nothing was jumping out like I needed it.
There were a couple things. Like I saw like a really cute pair of like jogger sweatpants, and I walked over and was like, "Oh, these might be cute." And they were $90. Like there's no
Wow.
way.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Like I thought
Yeah.
like it's a race expo, they'll be like $50, which is too much money for them anyway. But
Yeah.
90.
Woof. That's like Disney prices.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
ridiculous. So
So we got our bibs, and we're just walking around with Michelle, and we were chatting, and we walked around the expo a little bit, got some nutrition for the next day, and you picked up some gloves, some throwaway gloves.
yep.
Much needed.
You know who was there that shocked us Baltimore people? Charm City Run.
Charm City
Apparently
Run.
they have expanded to what is Philly? Brotherly Love.
Brotherly love. Yep.
And what did you get from them, Diana?
I got a shirt with a ridiculous Gritty on the back.
Yes, because Gritty is the best mascot
All right.
in all of sports. Besides,
right.
maybe people would argue that the Fanatic is
The Fanatic is pretty
greatest.
great. So you guys know this. I don't really care about sports. I like the Caps because we go to the games and they're really fun. But I support all Philly sports mascots, and I think all teams should have ridiculous mascots.
Crazy.
Like I don't need
mascots,
a buttoned up formal mascot. I want them to be crazed. And
Which
that's
is what
Philly
Gritty
gives me.
is.
Gritty is chaos
He's chaos.
embodied.
I love
And
him.
I'm here for it. So,
He's
you know,
the
like
best.
Charm City Run, their kind of thing is they have run on the back of their shirts, and usually the U is something. So at Christmas, it'll be a reindeer or it'll be a crab or whatever. And so the U in Run is Gritty, and it made me extremely happy. And the front says Run Philly.
What do we do after that?
And
And then okay, so then after the
You don't have to go
expo-
step by step.
No, I'm not. But like we were looking at like where could we eat, and like we usually do like pasta, but we found this. We were staying at the Sheraton downtown, which is a really good hotel for the race.
Yeah, perfect location.
But like
Yeah,
right
that's really
around the
close.
corner. I mean, right around the corner, we found a little pizza place, and we just got pizza the night before. So that was
That's a good
was very
pre-race
nice.
food. Yeah.
All right, so then we go to bed. And-
Good story, bro.
But hold on, no, we lay out all
Cool
of our
story.
He's
clothes.
like, you don't have to go through every
hey.
step of your weekend. He's like, I go to bed.
And what I was dreaming
I go to
about.
bed.
So first, I was like tossing and turning, and then I got a little bit more sleepy, and I started counting sheep. Anyways, we lay out all of our clothes,
God.
and
Oh my God.
I'm
so
trying to.
kidding.
I don't know what you want me to do. We were okay. The next day, we ran a half marathon. The end. God. You know how I tell stories.
Be my pants.
Anyways, okay, so we didn't know how to dress for the weather because the weather looked terrible. It looked very, very cold.
Yeah.
So but this part's important to me, okay?
Yes.
Because I got up, and when getting ready for the weather, I had way too many layers on. So this is what I was wearing, listening people. I was wearing.
It's
Diana
unbelievable.
Diana will call them my running panties.
All right. Also, can
Hold
we
on.
just talk? Like, he keeps listing his underwear as a layer. The underwear,
not a
they're
layer.
just there. There's not a layer. Like,
Oh,
it's not
it's a layer
like, I don't
because
consider my sports bra a layer.
That's a
Like,
layer.
it's just what you have to wear.
No, hold on. All right, so I was wearing those, and they keep the thighs from meeting each other. I was wearing compression pants. I was wearing
Wow.
compression socks over my compression pants.
That's a
So
lot of
up into
compression.
my right below my knee, I had double compression on my legs.
It's basically a tourniquet on your leg.
Good God. And then I had like running pants on, like loose running pants.
You
my
had shorts
God.
on, too.
I had shorts. I'm sorry. I had
Oh my
shorts.
god. That's like 7 layers.
What is happening?
I had a total of 5 layers
On his bottom.
on my bottom.
Oh my god.
And then on the top, I had a t-shirt, a long sleeve like tech shirt, a hoodie, a cotton hoodie, and then a running vest, Michael.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
he
it was
had-
cold out, but it was not
He had
5
every
degrees
intention
out.
of dropping the hoodie and then just didn't. Like, he was going to check it.
So
I feel like that's an extreme amount of clothes.
So, yeah.
I was overdressed and overcompressed, and the weather turned out much nicer than we had anticipated.
it was
because-
way nicer.
It
on
was nicer
Saturday,
than what we anticipated. It was still cold
Yeah.
because we had about, I don't know, between a mile walk to the start. And I will tell you, Michelle gave us a warning the night before that she's like, oh, security's kind of a pain. We had no idea. We had to wait for 40 minutes, I think, to get in.
to tell you.
Yeah.
I meant to mention it to you, and I completely forgot because ever since Boston, that race's security has been a nightmare. And they have like it squeezes hundreds of people into this tiny one little line, like
It's awful.
with 2 people wanding you.
Yeah. There weren't
it's
enough people
awful.
wanding. They were
Yeah.
wanding every single person. They were checking inside I've never been to a race that's been like that. It was
Yeah, it's-
insane.
Can
And
we talk
we-
about how
okay.
dumb it is?
Yeah. Because
you're
2
literally
seconds later,
running
you're on
through
the
a city.
street.
Literally running through a city.
Like, they're not
So
blocking
dumb.
off the city.
It's so dumb.
It's the
my God,
dumbest
Michael,
waste
so
of time
dumb.
and resources I've ever seen.
Oh my god, it's really dumb.
But it was really cold out, right? It's just not cold like as cold when you're running. So we waited kind of maybe a little longer than we should have because we didn't want to go out in the cold. And then ended up waiting very close. So the race was starting at 7:30. I think we made it through security 7:10-ish. And then we had to do bag check because I brought an extra underlayer and kind of a fleecy type jacket that I was wearing there that I was going to check so I could change in between the 2 races.
Oh yeah,
And the
2
line
races, yeah.
was so long and they weren't using the little tag that was on your bib. Like, everyone had to wait in this huge slow moving line, and they put a tag on your wrist and then a tag on your bag. So it was taking forever. And that's where Tom panicked and said, I'm not checking this hoodie, even though 5 of us were in line anyway, checking a bag.
Guys.
Like, he had to wait anyway. He wasn't like, he was just standing there waiting for us. He could have just dropped his hoodie
Oh god.
or one of the or his top layer of pants.
One layer of pants.
So we were there and we basically got up to the start line. There was a delay in the start, I think, because it started after 7:30. I think
did
it
you
did.
start after 7:30, or did the whole race start after?
I think the whole
7:30?
race
'Cause
started after 7:30.
Because I know the one year there was security took so long that they delayed the race 10 minutes.
Yeah, there was a delay
And
because
then
when we got up there, they hadn't even let people go yet. Oh, yeah. And then bag check could not have been further away from either the security or the start line. So think about like the worst possible place you could go before a race to freak Tom out. That's where we
that's
were.
how Chicago half marathon was, if I remember correctly, whereas like where the start line and where bag check was so far away from like where you walk in from where the cars come in that like people were freaking out, like, am I gonna have enough time to get to bag check and then get all the way back to the start line because it's so far away.
It was rough. And because we were doing the challenge, so they actually had corrals they weren't really checking where you were going, but they did have corrals that were clearly separate. So like you couldn't get from one corral to the next because they did do a good job of like blocking kind of all that off. But because we were all doing the challenge, we didn't have a corral, so we kind of went to kind of the middle of the front so we could have more time, because we did know we were doing the second race after, so we wanted to start earlier than we would, and that went pretty well. And we started at kind of the back of the corral that we were in, with lots of people that were faster than us. So when we started the race, we quickly lost, I would say, 90% of the people that started in the corral. So while we were running downtown, like Center City, where like the circle is and all that, there were maybe 30 runners there, because the next corral hadn't been released yet, and it felt like we were a private race. There was no one ahead of us. It felt like we were like, is this what elite people feel like? There's just no
Oh my
one
God,
there.
that's amazing.
And the whole crowd was so confused. Like, you could hear people talking, like, I don't know, like, what are they just releasing people at different times? Like, what? Like, you could hear people
Nobody knew
like,
what was
what's
going on.
happening? And they're like, do we cheer for like these random people that are walking every 2 minutes? Like, what's happening? It's
They keep stopping. What's happening?
why do they keep running and walking? So we started the race. Tom took off like a bat out of hell, like he always does.
And then the compression starts to catch up to me.
He was going so fast. The first mile was so fast, we like yelled at him.
I had so
God.
so much clothing on, and my leg, like everything was tight, like, but like constricted, not because the muscles were tight. Because
Yeah,
I was plenty warm. So
Too much compression.
oh,
Overly
God.
compressed.
It was so dumb. Like everything about it was dumb. So I started mentally quitting almost immediately. But I mean, it's a great race. Like, it's a great course. You see a lot of nice parts of the city. There's a lot of like straightaways, different things to see. You know, you run by the bridge, you run by the water, up South Street, through downtown, you know, like over by the zoo. Like, it's a great course.
Yeah,
I would
you
love to
do
do this
really
again.
Go to
see
University
it.
City.
Yeah,
it's
you see a
it's
ton.
I've said it a number of times, I think, here, and I think when you guys talked about running this race, it's the one that I always say, if you're going to run a Philly race, this is the one that I would recommend, because Broad Street, while the largest and most popular one, this one to me is the one where you get to see Philadelphia.
Yeah. Yep, you see everything. You run right by the Liberty Bell. You go through like all of that on the cobblestones. It's beautiful. That's about where Tom had his meltdown. So we were under mile 3. I would almost say around mile 2, where Tom was so compressed and hot. And usually when I say if Tom have a meltdown, I'm speaking very loosely. Like, he just gets really quiet in his head and doesn't want to be around people. But he was talking and kind of like snapped at one of us and was like, I really don't want to talk to anybody right now.
Oh my God.
Guys.
And he doesn't really do
that. One layer either way would have helped me so much.
And then, so then we finished the race. Tom didn't want people around, and Ryan is still dealing with his shin splints. So Tom ran with Ryan.
Shout out to Ryan, man. That's my man.
Well, he got told he could do the race only if he did it slow. So
there you go. Yeah.
He was
and you guys mostly walked the 8K?
Yeah, we walked the entire 8K.
And that was on Kelly Drive where we were cheering at? Is that basically where that was?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's exactly where it was. So yeah, we finished the half. Pretty good time. Again, beautiful course. Loved it. Did it when we first started, we weren't sure how fast we would do it. I actually did it a little faster than I thought I would, but not like crazy PR or anything like that. With enough time to stop and go to the bathroom, and I ran. I grabbed my bag to drop my medal. I took all of my clothes off and was basically in my bra in this field because I needed to take that bottom layer off because it got so sweaty.
Oh God!
Shove that in the bag and then just grab my fleece out. So that was good. So I was able to change out of that. They were doing something weird where they wouldn't take your bag back. So then you had to get in line again and check your bag at a different area for the 8K.
For the 8K. That's so,
It was a
oh my
nightmare.
God. Oh my God.
Yeah, then the 8K, you go, it's really pretty. You run kind of straight up like you're going to the art museum, the Rocky Steps, and then go down Kelly Drive, running directly into the wind and cold. Forever, for about 3 miles, and then you turn around, you run like 2 miles back. So it was better coming one way. We were going to do intervals, and then Tom demanded we walk. So all of us walked.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody that put up with me, because that was very nice of them.
Yep. So it was, it was good. We got all 18. So that was the furthest distance I think, Tom, you've ever gone, right?
Yeah.
In a
How you
single
feeling?
day, yeah.
Nice.
I feel fine. Like,
and then
good.
you walked around the city a bunch. So
we walked.
Yeah,
a
we
lot.
walked around and
Clearly,
we walked a couple
you
miles to
had-
get dinner.
Yeah.
yeah, like on the day, it's definitely over 20, 21,
so.
22 or something. But
Yeah.
Couple observations from the race. First, the medals are beautiful.
The medals are so great.
Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm pretty sure this is a thing with Philly, and tell me if I'm wrong, but do they always have these bells
Yes.
that like chime like that?
Yeah. They're always, well, I mean, everyone that I have rings. I don't know that they were always like that, but since I've been doing them, they are. Oh,
So
they always
basically-
have a physical bell that you can ring.
Yeah.
They've had like circles with the bell in the center that spins almost. They've had all variations of this bell.
Yeah. All you heard all day long,
I wanted
everywhere
to
you
kill
go,
someone.
is that little
It's
chimey
so-
metal Liberty Bell.
It's so annoying.
I
Like
got
walking
on
back to the hotel.
Oh God.
I got on the train to go back to home the one year.
I can't imagine.
And there was like hundreds of us, and every single time the train made the wrong motion, it was like boom, and it's like so
All of the
annoying.
bells.
It was so
Awful.
many bells.
The food was not great.
Ugh.
The
It
snacks
was
were
the
not great.
worst. That was the worst after race. Like, what do they even call that? Snacks? What do they say
Like
after the
post
race?
race, yeah,
the post race, whatever.
Yeah.
So they had orange
beers
juice and apple
party.
juice. Yeah, post race party. Orange juice and apple juice, frozen because it was so cold out.
Yep.
It was literally frozen. You couldn't even, like, everyone was shaking it to try and unfreeze it. It was basically
Oh,
a slush. They had chicken broth, which was fine. Then they just had Nutri-Grain bars and then those crumbly granola bars.
Yeah.
Those, what are they
Oh,
called?
not
Nature
even
Valley.
soft ones?
The Nature
Jesus.
Yeah.
Valley.
And then, the soft Nutri-Grain ones and those ones. And then, was that it?
Maybe bananas. I
And
think
then they had like
bananas.
frozen bananas because it was so cold.
Oh God.
It was all. That's all they had. All you wanted was chips, and they didn't have that.
That's
so-
terrible.
It was terrible.
Yeah, I don't remember in the past, but I know just generally, people. It's like one of the things people often complain about. Like some of the other Philly races just have better stuff at the end, but this is the better like course.
Mm.
I don't know. I guess in Philly, you either you win it or you lose it. I don't know.
Yeah, they did give out hot dogs. So after the 8K, we didn't do it after the half, but we did after the 8K go over and get a Dietz and Watson hot dog.
Hot dog. There you go.
So, and they had either an all beef hot dog or like a chicken and spinach hot dog, which no one wanted. They kept trying to give them away. They're like, anybody want chicken? Like they couldn't give them away.
Yeah. Well, Dietz and Watson is the sponsor of one of the races, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that they're the prime sponsor of the half
Yeah, I
marathon.
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So no, it's a
then-
good race. We said that we would do it again. Hopefully not in cold weather, but it seems to be hit or miss. Like you guys said, you've run it and it's been warm.
Yeah, I've
I
run
have
it
a
in a
friend that ran
t-shirt
it,
and shorts, and I've run it in long sleeve and capris, where it's like just a little bit cold, but not like free. I mean, nothing like this. I've never experienced anything like this.
Yeah, this is unusual.
2 years
yeah.
ago, I think it was 2 years ago. It absolutely torrentially poured for the marathon.
Whew. So
it's been a wacky. I feel like
Wow.
late November, it's wacky.
Yeah.
Well, Erin, you haven't lived until you've run it in 5 layers on the bottom and top.
Next time I will be sure to do that.
And you
Oh
heard it
my
first
God.
here. You count your underwear as a layer.
Yeah, that's a layer.
Hot
This-
take.
That's a
This
hot
is
take.
the best course supported Philly race though. Well,
It was great.
Broad
There were
Street is
tons
pretty
of
good
people
too,
out
but
there.
this race generally both the marathon and the half marathon have people almost the whole way. And because this was the race that I chose to do, like where I pet all the dogs, like every dog I saw.
Oh,
Because
there were
there
tons.
so many to be able to see. So yeah, this is a really good. This brings out Philly.
We did see one beer stop, so they were doing beer and Jameson shots.
Yep.
Which improved my mood.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So yeah, no, it was awesome. And then so that was that race, and then we got to hang out with you guys that night.
Yep. We went
Yeah,
to
we
an
did.
adorable Christmas market.
Yep.
So
Went
nice.
to
It was the
Christmas
first night.
market. We did dinner at
Strange
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 Loves.
with the
That's-
little old biddies.
Yeah, met some ladies.
They
Yep,
were
that's
the
my
most
future.
adorable
They were super
ladies
nice.
ever.
It was so
We
cute because
talked to them for a while.
Yeah.
Tom asked him how long they'd known each other, and we thought they would be like 80 years. And
They were
what
like
they say, Tom?
6
6
months.
months.
They were like 6 months. was clearly
Because I
one
think
woman-
I was the one who was like, ask them how long they've known each other. Because Tom likes to talk to people. In case
Yeah.
you don't know about Tom, and so I was like, Tom, to ask them how long they've known each other. I want to know about this friendship of theirs, and they were like 6 months.
Yeah, they live in the same retirement community.
Yeah, there was clearly one ringleader,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
but then
Yes.
like one of the people at the table was like 94 years old,
Yeah, yeah.
and like
Yeah.
they were the sweetest
So
ladies.
cute.
nice. So
but
nice.
like that's why it gets dark way too early, because it felt like it was 11 p.m.
yeah.
and I'm like, why are these women out? And it was like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Right, so like clearly they were not out late.
The one woman's advice is to never get married again.
yes.
Hey,
Yeah. They were
Oh,
so cute too. They
funny.
asked to take a photo, and then the one was doing like little like claws with her like huge
Yes.
fingernails.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they were
Adorable.
so Philly.
yeah, well,
Yes.
I don't know if they listen, but if you're out there,
And then Sunday we cheered the marathon in the beautiful, balmy 30 degrees and 30 miles.
It was great for me
winds.
because I think it was one of the first times I've actually cheered. Particularly cheered for something that I didn't really know anybody running or wasn't like super
Mhm.
close with anyone. Right? Like I've come and watched like Tom run or
Yeah.
like I had a couple friends do like an Iron Girl, so I went to that. But this is my first time cheering like a big major marathon like this. So
Yeah,
that was
I didn't
pretty cool for
realize that
me.
you'd never done that before until we were out there and talking about it. I don't know that I
It is really
realized.
fun to do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because this is not my first experience, but I, as always, say it is probably the most rewarding experience. I love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do.
Well, we picked a great day for it because the weather was just
Just
amazing.
right. It was just beautiful.
It wasn't windy. It was perfectly still. Michael told
Brianna.
that the wind would be at her back on the way
Well-
back from the
well, we also picked a great spot.
Yes.
Because the spot that we picked, what was it like? It was
15?
15
and a half.
and 25.
15.7. Yeah,
And-
15.7 and
and
14 and a half, or 24
4 and a half. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but people would come down around the corner,
Oh, God.
get onto the straightaway that we were on.
Yeah, Kelly
And the-
Drive.
The wind would smack them right in the face.
And you could see
Every
it.
single
You
person.
saw it. Yes.
So Kelly Drive, for those not familiar with Philadelphia, if you're over at the art museum, as soon as you come down past the art museum, the Schuylkill River, you can go on both sides of the Schuylkill River, and there's bike paths and a walking path, and like a lot of people run on both sides.
Mm.
They close both sides of the river depending on the race. For this race, it's on the opposite side from most races, but so a lot of the races go straight out on Kelly Drive and then do a turnaround and come straight back, which is what this race does. But Kelly Drive, because it's on the river, whenever it's windy,
Oh, it's
whenever the
wide
conditions
open.
are, it's wide open. It's the only part of the city that's like that wide open.
It was insane.
So the wind it just creates this funnel on that, and it whips.
You could just see the faces, though.
That was the entire 10K. Or not 10K.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Was that
Yeah.
8K?
8K,
Was that.
yeah.
It wasn't it was windy on Saturday, but not like it was on Sunday. Sunday was wild. And if you guys know anything
the
about
one
me,
guy-
it's that I love the outdoors
And cold wind.
and I love cold weather. Like those are just two things about me.
Well, Diana and I were standing there, and we had seen a couple people's faces, but like after like maybe 5 minutes of being there, this one guy, literally, you just heard him like both of us just started dying laughing because you just heard him go, ugh.
Because it was just like a huge gust of wind. They looked so miserable.
Oh my
And then
God.
in true Tom and Diana fashion, we had every intention of like going and getting stuff to hand out or help cheer or make us out. We did nothing. We did nothing.
Fine.
So
We ended up
We had
Erin,
plenty of stuff.
Erin
yeah.
carries us like she always does through life and through this entire podcast. So she did all the work.
We ended up having like just the right amount actually
Yeah.
for the one direction, and then since we didn't stay for the other direction, it didn't matter.
It was so cold. Yeah, we couldn't.
We
Yeah.
I could not-
apologize.
Yeah.
We had every intention of crossing the street and staying there for like another hour. And when we crossed that street, there was like a huge difference in like wind
Well, it
and
got
temperature.
windier as the day went on. So I felt terrible for the people. Like the later people, the slower people were getting it worse than
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah.
So they would come down out of the park around that turn and just get blasted in the face with a stronger and stronger wind each time. And I was like,
God.
oh,
Yeah,
I
I
feel
felt-
so bad for these
Yeah.
people.
Those poor people.
But yeah, so Michael and I took the train in.
Yeah.
And then we walked to mile 6.
Yep. Watched
Before
a
we
little
got-
bit there.
I'm backtracking a little. We got there. We got off the train just in time to see the first marathoner actually come through. We
yeah.
didn't have our cameras ready because we were just walking up as we heard the sirens. So we kind of trotted there a little faster to try and make sure we saw it. We saw the first guy little pack come through. There was like maybe 6 to 7 of them in the pack. And then we got a video of like the second pack of guys. And then we caught the first woman.
Mhm.
There's 2 women in that little pack. We caught them. And then we kind of walked along Walnut Street while people were running for a little while, stood there for a couple minutes. And then we walked over to grab you guys at the hotel.
Yep.
That you guys are staying at.
And then we walked about what? Almost. It
almost
wasn't
2.5
3
miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about 2.5 miles because I recorded it on my watch
Yeah.
to get some walk miles in. It was about 2.5 miles to where if you stand there, you get both sides. So it's an out and back.
Yeah.
You're on one side, you get everyone coming down off of out of the
Fairmount
zoo
Park.
area. So 15.7-ish. And then if you're on the other side of the road, you're at mile 24.5.
Yep, absolutely. So we had lots of treats and candy. It was
Starburst, some
really
chocolate.
funny because we did notice we had candy out, probably starting at people around like a 4:10 marathon was like, we were like, oh, we should get the candy out. And then no one wanted it for the longest time, but it was like a switch that went on. Like as soon as like the 5-hour marathon people started coming through, everyone wanted candy.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I said that. And because I think I even said that to you. I said, I'll take the candy out. We can like say it, but I don't think anyone's going to. Because I feel like if you're running like a 4:30 or less, you've got a goal. Like you are like, this isn't a fun run for you. This is like, I have these goals. This is what I want to run. And they're super appreciative of you being there, and they'll high five you and they'll cheer and they'll wave, but they don't want to stop and talk to you. They just want to keep moving.
Yep.
And there's like this distinct line
Yep.
where it becomes like, oh, I want whatever you've got for me.
Yeah. And people were so excited. And people were because we had like all kinds of different things. People like wanted what they want. There were very few people that wanted like one of each. Like somebody would run over and be like chocolate or Starburst or Twit. Like they wanted the specific thing. So that was really cute. And just a couple of the guys, it was so funny. They were like, "I'm so hungry." Is what like we heard
Yes.
from like 4 or 5 of them. I'm
Yep.
so
Yeah,
hungry.
and then around the 5:30, 5:45 is when I pulled out, because having somewhat of experience in the marathon, I sort of like, I had bought pretzels, like the 100-calorie pack, like individual packs of pretzels, and I'd bought peanut butter cracker individual packs. And I know that when you're going to be out there for a long time, you get hungry.
Yep.
And so there also is a distinct line of people who are willing to eat solid foods.
Oh yeah.
So we sort of saved them for the back of the pack. And I mean, they
They were
went.
so
They went
grateful.
quick.
They were so grateful for that.
Yeah. And you guys, I feel like everyone was surprised that, like, because when I pulled them out, I think Matt was even like, "Oh, who's going to want pretzels?" I'm like, everyone.
Oh
Everyone's
yeah.
going to want
Yeah.
these.
I actually, if anything over 16 miles, I bring something solid like that on my training run. So I'll bring pretzels, or I'll bring like peanut butter crackers, or all that kind of stuff on anything I do over 16. I'm hungry.
Tom sold out of those peanut butter crackers in like 3 seconds. I should have brought more of
very
them.
quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. But I did feel so bad because it was so cold and windy. And so we were out there for what, 2-ish hours, I would say.
No, I think it
more
was
than
more
that.
than that, because we met you at like 8:30.
8:30.
And we started
We didn't
walking at
leave till
8:30. And we
noon.
didn't leave till noon. So
It was,
yeah.
we were out there a
It was
long time. And it was wild. As soon as we crossed the street, we made it maybe another 15 minutes. Like when I can't feel my fingers, we have to leave. It was so cold on that side of the road. It was
there was like this
unbelievable.
weird distinct difference too between the two sides of the road. Like, I don't know whether it was because there was like sort of
A hill
almost
behind us.
retaining hill behind us that was kind of blocking the wind a little bit. And as soon as we crossed the street, then it was like the wind swirling around us.
Yep.
Because like I said, Michael kept telling people, just got to get 4.5 miles and you'll turn around. The wind will be at your back.
Yeah.
I hear that there was no wind at anyone's back.
I think it was more towards our side. So yeah.
Yeah, it was just awful. And even it was Tom. Tom called it. He was like, we can't be here anymore.
I was
Oh yeah,
ready
it
to
was
go.
so cold. Yeah,
it was so cold. And we had to drive back. So we were like, we can't be out here.
And when I said that, when I texted a couple of people, I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry we weren't there." They're like, I completely understand. I don't even know how you stood out there for as long as you did." So
I will say people are really appreciative because, you know, a lot of it is you're trying to read people's names off their bib as they come up to you, and then you're shouting them out. And that, I feel like that catches people off guard because they forget their names are on their bibs.
yes, 100%.
And they really appreciate it. Like it was really cool.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite experiences. I love it. So if anyone wants a cheer squad, let me know. I'll come cheer for you. I did have a inflatable that I was supposed to wear. That will make an appearance at some point at some race somewhere, maybe even Disney. We'll see. But I could not imagine, especially with the winds that were predicted. They ended up being a little less, but it was still really windy.
It was brutal.
And this thing is like an 8-foot inflatable that I would have been inside of, and all I could imagine was like blowing away.
You know, that is so funny. I actually, but while we were getting ready to like walk up for the half marathon the day before, I think I said it to Tom. I said, well, we can't pull an Erin and Michael just because there's a 5-degree difference doesn't mean we need to change our entire plan.
That's fair.
Is literally what I said to him.
We could have used a few more layers on Sunday, though.
I was good on
I could
Sunday.
have used a few less
fine.
layers on Saturday.
Yep.
No, I was actually pretty good till it was just we were out there so long. There was only so much it could do.
Yeah.
But
I needed one more pair of gloves to go on top of my gloves, and then at the end my toes started to get really cold where I needed like an extra pair of socks.
I had double gloves on because I had like my thinner running gloves on. And then I had like a fleece lined pair of gloves on top of that. So I had the double gloves on. And even towards the end, I could still feel like the wind through my gloves.
Oh yeah. I had on leggings under my jeans and then like an Under Armour Cold Gear top under my like sweatshirt that I had on.
Yeah.
And then my huge winter coat that goes down to my ankles.
But shout out to everyone who ran it for real. I
Seriously.
mean, brutal conditions. I saw one of the things I said to Michael when we were watching like the fast people, because like I said, we saw the first
Yeah.
runners go by who were wearing like the tiny shorts and the sports bra, or like the little short shorts that the guys wear with a little singlet. And I was like, what happens if you blow up and you have to drop? Like, wait, like you have nothing else on you. You're just wearing these tiny little outfit, and then you have nothing to keep you warm.
They impress me so much. Like, I understand you get really hot when you run. I just can't imagine it feeling like it's in the 20s and to get hot enough where that's enough clothing. Like,
I mean, you're running at like a 6-minute pace or
it's
under.
just, I can't, it's
You also can't
believable
imagine
to
doing
me.
that either. So
like,
Yeah.
it's just, the whole thing is insane to me. Like, I can understand maybe going to like, if it was me, like leggings and like a thin long sleeve t-shirt, or even just like a t-shirt. But these people had barely any clothes
Yeah,
on.
the
I was like, they're
wind-
gonna stop and get hypothermia.
It's
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
wind. The wind for me.
The wind is
because
so
even
bad.
when I did like the half marathon that I raced, my PR marathon or half marathon, I wore a tank top and it was December, and most people had like long sleeves and gloves, and like we're all like looking at me like, what? So if I'm gonna race something and go as fast as I possibly can, I get hot. So I can totally see why they would need to do that, especially these elites. But like, I just think to myself, you know, a lot of the elites will drop if they aren't having the race that they're expecting to have. And I'm just trying to think of like these people like dropping out of a race, and then what? You're like just standing there in the cold waiting for someone to come pick you up?
No, I would rather die.
That I can't imagine.
No.
Yeah.
It would
Cold.
just be unbelievable. So I'm so impressed. And then like just the back of the Packers, like where I live, it's just you're cold. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
at that point I would just be wearing a coat, honestly.
Yeah. Some
that's what
people
I said.
were
There
at the
were
end.
some at the end. And then as we were walking back, because we walked the same direction as the runners were going, and we saw that one guy who was walking, and then you'd see him try. And you and I were saying like, what do you do? Like, you are in so much pain, you don't want to keep running, and you're like, I just want to walk, but you're so cold that you have to keep moving in order to like keep yourself warm.
Yeah, you got to
Because
keep
he
warm.
had shorts on and a long sleeve, so
Uh-huh.
like cold.
No. And you could tell they were cold, like especially and I noticed this too at the half on Saturday, and it wasn't even as cold. A lot of them their legs were bright red because
Oh,
they
that
were
yeah,
so
from the
cold.
cold. Yeah, that
Yeah.
reddish.
I
Yeah.
get that
Bright
actually.
red, Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah. So shout out to everybody. And we did see some people. So who do we need to shout out? I know we saw Megan, both sides, which was awesome.
Yeah.
We thought we were nervous because
Well,
Tom and I
thought I
dilly
was gonna
dallied.
miss her.
So we
She was just running super fast.
Well, she
in
was
the
like
beginning. She was running super fast.
20
in the
minutes
beginning.
faster than we thought she was going to be
Yeah.
to that point. So it
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
so
like,
that was like a double thing there, where it was like we were sort of like taking our time in the beginning, and then all of a sudden I panicked and it was like, oh crap, I'm gonna miss her.
Yeah.
But no, I got to see her and hug her twice.
Yeah. She was killing it. She was going so
Uh,
fast when we saw her.
You guys saw Michelle Kay on Saturday.
Yep.
We hung out
And we
with
saw
her. We went and
Tori
grabbed
on
dinner with
Saturday
her.
too.
You saw Tori, who was doing the bigger challenge than you,
Woo.
the Freedom Challenge,
Unbelievable.
where she was doing the half marathon, the 8K,
And
and the marathon.
and she
Incredible.
PR'd the full.
I
in
cannot believe her.
in 2 days. It's not like Dopey where you do like the 8K like a different day. She did them back to back, so she did 18 miles and then the 26.
Yeah.
0.2.
And then when I saw her, she's Tori. So when I saw her on Saturday, she was like skipping around like a fairy, like before the race. I'm like, just so Tori. She's so freaking cute.
Tori is vibes.
And then her friend that was with her, like, was like kind of grumpier, and she's like, I cannot believe she made me do this. She's always it was so funny. Like
That's so funny.
It was so cute. But I'm super proud of her. We saw her run. I mean, she had to have PR'd that marathon because she didn't even like stop to say hi. Like she kind of waved when we saw her running, but she
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah, and we
really-
yelled her
yeah.
name.
Yeah. So she was killing it.
I saw my friend Katie. I shouted her out as we were leaving, and then we saw who we said Bria.
Yep.
Do I say her name? Brianna.
Brianna.
But it's her. But on Instagram, it's just Bria. BRYYRA, right?
BRYA.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Underscore.
Underscore. So is it Bria on? I don't know. She's probably gonna yell at me and correct me again. It's fine. I shouted. It's fine. We're besties.
Just
I
keep
don't know her
saying
handle.
that. It'll make it true.
But she came and grabbed some candy from us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What did
said
she want?
was
She wanted Snickers, right?
no, that was actually Tori who never even took them.
Oh.
Snickers and the Mr. Good bars, and then we didn't get to see her. She may have taken them from us on the way back if she was like in a place where she'd want them. But yeah, I put them aside for her. I'd also put aside a couple shots for Megan, and she didn't take those either. So
No, because she was running pretty good at the
and
end.
I think everyone just wanted to be
Get done.
So like
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
wanted to stop and actually talk to us for very long.
Well, that was the thing, was once we switched to the other side of the street, like at that point, nobody wanted to stop.
yeah.
Like they only had a mile and a half to go or whatever it was, a mile and 3/4. Like nobody wanted to stop at that point.
Yeah.
They just wanted to get out of there.
Yeah.
But you guys killed it. And then Brianna, she PR'd as well, didn't she?
Yeah, by like 57 minutes.
That's
Oh,
insane.
damn, really?
Yeah, I mean, I know
Ooh.
she thought it wasn't exact like the race she wanted or expected, or like I think she wanted like a larger PR, but I mean, like, come on, it
That's
was like
huge.
20 something degrees with
Yeah.
like lots of wind. Like
Yep. That's really good.
for the conditions, I'm proud of everyone who even showed up at the start line because this was a day for a DNS if there ever was one.
Oh, 100%. I wonder how many people, like, we were talking about that on Saturday. Where
Just
like,
rolled over.
nah.
Nah, I'm good.
And Tom and I were laughing so hard on like the way home because we were talking about all the things that we kind of thought we were going to do at the beginning of the year and then for some reason ended up not doing it, and it has worked out in our favor multiple times. I was going to do this marathon. Could you imagine
Oh,
how
You announced
freaking
you were gonna
miserable
do
I
it.
was?
Yeah, you had announced you were going to do this
That
marathon.
was a good call.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, I
On
would
this
have done it.
podcast.
I would not have done it. You guys are
No
so much
way,
stronger than
yeah.
I am. And I'm a giant baby. Mentally, physically, I would not have been able to do it. Like, I realized very early in the year that if I was going to do a marathon kind of earlier as dopey training, I would have to do a lot of miles by myself. And I just couldn't do I wasn't in the headspace this year where I could do miles by myself. Like that many miles by myself.
Yeah.
And when people would go out for 14 or 15, I couldn't imagine going out and doing an extra 4 or 5 by myself. I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, just
Which
to
is-
get up to that point.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I made that decision. So this is one of those things where I was like, I kind of, bitched out, but it worked out in my favor.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. You know what I wanted to also mention? We had, Tom had a celebrity moment, right? So he was holding the "Will Run For" sign, which everyone has nicely pointed out to me should have said podcast at the bottom.
Here's the thing.
Whatever.
No,
Here's the
we're
thing.
just teasing. We don't care.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I made the sign and you guys didn't do anything.
We did nothing.
We literally
bring.
we couldn't have helped less.
We couldn't have done less. We
Tom
actually
held the
caused
sign.
more work for you. Like, because you guys had to, like, we didn't even meet you somewhere. We made you, like, walk out of your way to our hotel. Like,
So we also saw, so Tom's holding the sign and as Real I Run Things runs by, she's like, "We'll run for, I know you guys."
Oh,
And Tom
then-
had a little celebrity moment where he was like, "Oh my God, somebody knows me."
the price of fame.
The price
the
of
price
fame,
of fame.
Tom.
Happens all the
Price
time.
of fame.
I will say, though, that if our sign had the word podcast on it, we may have gotten one or two more listeners because, I don't know, thousands of people were running by the sign.
I'm sure that was definitely what they would have read and thought about as the wind crushed them in the face.
No,
coming
but
around.
honestly, they may have remembered us because we were the ones out there with candy.
Yeah.
That's how you remember
Possibly.
people,
Or
right?
Possibly.
that
Because
they saw us in the worst moment of their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
or that.
Yeah.
Did you
yeah,
guys
No, but
mention-
like I feel like when you run by certain people during a race and like they do something for you, like you remember the guy you took a Starburst from. So or like you remember like
the guy who got
the
you out of the woods.
you remember the beer like the beer stop people, or you remember, and if you had a sign, they might have remembered us. Fine. Next sign I make, I'll put podcast on it. Okay, people?
Next time something happens, Tom and I might actually do something, but I make no promises. I don't like.
I want to find a flexible sign that's easier.
I'm not gonna count on Tom and Diana doing something next time.
No,
Look,
absolutely
I'll
not.
just blow it up on social media.
Just don't.
Blow it up on social
Oh my
media.
god. All right.
He didn't even do that. I did that.
I posted about it.
Yeah, so this episode didn't end up being much shorter than our normal one.
Somehow. I don't even know how.
It's on brand.
That was a fun day cheering. out there, though.
Yeah.
It was great.
I wish it would have been a little nicer for everyone, but it was fun.
Yes, I agree.
Want to wrap up with something good?
I didn't plan anything for that. I thought we were doing.
I'll go first.
Think of
Okay.
something good.
The only thing good is Andor, and
Oh
that's
my
the end
God.
of this.
It's
Look,
because
Weckerly is
just-
fighting with you
You're
on
gonna
social
get
media.
into an internet battle with Weckerly?
You
But
can't
he doesn't realize it's a losing battle. Because I don't
No.
care.
because you don't care. Oh God.
He's used to arguing with people who care about something.
Yes.
That's true.
You can't argue apathy.
Yeah, this is
That's
exactly true.
It's like there's the Christmas episode of Phineas and Ferb is one of my
yes.
favorites. And the
Oh my
like
God.
Doofenshmirtz, like the villain, he sings a song about how he really doesn't hate Christmas. Like, because
Yeah.
all the villains want to destroy Christmas. And he's like, blast my infernal apathy towards Christmas. Christmas was always fine as a child. Not good nor bad. It was just fine.
Which is fine.
So I
Oh,
always
God.
think about that. That's what arguing with Michael is. Does not care.
All
I
right,
have one, if you don't.
Go ahead.
All right. My something good for this week are insane 80s Christmas movies. They are all
Ooh.
overly emotional. There's
Yeah.
always some weird magic happens. And they're, I don't know, insanely inappropriate in multiple ways. So, like,
Probably true. Yeah.
today, I watched The Christmas Gift with John Denver, where
Oh my gosh.
I don't know, an 8-year-old gets on a horse with like a 15-year-old boy and they go off into the woods. All kinds of weird stuff happens. John Denver singing songs. They're buying a small town. We've got Smoky Mountain Christmas with Dolly Parton. Equally as insane. That one's got mountain men and witches and orphans and Dolly Parton dressed like a prostitute. Like, One Magic Christmas, I showed that to Tom and he was traumatized for 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
So that one's on Disney Plus if anyone wants to check it out.
Ooh.
Actually, that's your homework assignment. Everyone go watch One Magic Christmas on Disney Plus and then report back on how traumatizing it is. So insane, traumatizing 80s Christmas movies. That's my something good this week.
My something good was the lovely dinner that we had with the two of you and Michelle, because that was some sort of normal event where we could just enjoy ourselves and I didn't have to worry about running the next day, and it was just fun.
He was so cute. He was like, I'm so glad we went out last night.
And the little Christmas village
It
and
was
all
the
of that
lit-
jazz.
It was the little old ladies that did it for you.
Yes, it was.
My something good is a repeat of what we always do around this time of year. My something good is we're about to start our Harry Potter rewatch.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
This week, we will begin our Harry Potter rewatch, and I will have to listen to Michael with his goddamn accents
Hey,
the next,
Potter.
like, week.
I can't start them yet. We haven't started watching
Yeah,
yet. I
he's
need
gonna-
to. I feel like I need to brush up on the characters to
Oh my
really
God.
Get into it.
really get into like the nitty gritty of their dialect.
But it's the time of year. I cannot believe that it's already the end of November.
God,
but yes,
I
it is.
know.
It is time for the annual Harry Potter rewatch, which will soon be followed by
The Lord of the Rings
Lord of the
rewatch.
Rings rewatches.
Yes.
Mhm.
The Eagles.
Mr. Frodo.
Oh,
Oh my God, he's like, I'm not going to start the voices. I got to refresh.
I
But he's-
didn't do a
He's
voice
always
there.
ready. He's always right
I
there.
didn't do
with the
voice.
Lord
I
of-
just said Mr. Frodo. I didn't
Oh,
even
you
do
said
voice.
it
my
in a
God.
little bit of a voice.
Mr.
There.
Frodo.
Oh my God, what is
It's
that?
my Sean Astin.
What? What is your something good?
he did it already, didn't he? No.
Oh, he is not. He was not joking about it being Andor.
No, my something good is
Oh.
Andor because
That'll
I like
That'll fuel
trolling
the
people and fueling fires, and then they think there's going to be an argument, and I just don't care enough to argue.
Oh,
Then
I forgot. I forgot that we already did that. I didn't really. I thought that he was joking when he
Oh.
said that. That was his something good. I thought he was going to move on to something that was actually good versus like trolling people and apathy.
Trolling people and apathy is good.
okay.
I mean, that's kind of the space where I live a lot of the time.
That's true.
This is like the anti something good.
I enjoy like being
How you make
able
the
to-
world a worse place.
Yeah. I feel
Uh,
bad. I tweaked Andrew and got him inadvertently excited about this argument, and then he wrote a lot about it, which I read. But then we all watched that one Leia chase scene, and we know it's the worst thing that's ever been filmed, and
Man,
like, there's no coming back
No, boo.
speaking of Benjamin Franklin quotes,
Oh, jeez. Is it something about beer and prostitutes? Pick a good one. Like, don't pick like a
God.
sentimental one. Pick something
okay,
ridiculous.
Well, I got two here, and the first one I don't know if it's exactly accurate, but it says, "He that lives upon hope dies farting."
that. He probably did say that. Yeah.
I
What?
don't understand what's happening. I don't understand.
And then, "He that falls in love with himself will have no rivals."
I mean, fair.
Yeah.
This is going to be just a Ben Franklin exclusive podcast.
God.
He's got too many quotes.
They can't all be his quotes, right?
No, they're probably half of them are probably made
It's
up.
like everyone who thinks Walt Disney said all this stuff and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
none of it's him.
It's not none of it's
Ah,
And with that, we will bid you a fond farewell.
happy Thanksgiving.
Whenever this
Yeah.
comes out,
Happy after Thanksgiving.
happy belated Thanksgiving.
What?
Hope you have a good December.
Ugh.
What a
Bye,
mess we
everyone.
are. Bye.
Bye.